Hi all, and welcome back to Prospect Roundup. We've been gone for a couple weeks, and I'm going to take this first second to give a shout out to our girl Destiny. I left Destiny with a Japanese prospect review. I didn't give her any of the spellings of the names, I didn't tell her anything about it, and she still was able to put together a very good video. I can't even begin to tell you how much we appreciate Destiny. So for this week, we're going to hit a couple pieces before we get into the team of record. First of all, last week we saw another new product. We saw Select Baseball. This is another great product for prospects. So it has all the fun stuff that you've become accustomed with Select. It's got the zebras, it's got the color wheels, it even has a Ken Griffey Jr. Reds color wheel. But here's my favorite part about this. It's the dual autographs. So imagine an autograph of, say, Roman Anthony, the top prospect in baseball, and Marcelo Mayer, or Leo DeVries and Ethan Salas. Those are fun. But how about this? How about a dual autograph of Pete Rose and Ichiro? Or even better for us Texas Rangers fans, how about Nolan Ryan and Paul Skeens dual autograph? It's in this product. Absolutely get your hands on it. It is unlicensed, but I'm telling you, you will not be sorry. The second thing I wanted to touch on before we got to our team of record was the Dallas Card Show. So as you guys may or may not know, and we've mentioned this at the beginning of most of the videos, we are here in lovely McKinney, Texas, and we are housed at the great RJ Duke Sports. We are right down the street from the Dallas Card Show. It's about 7 exits away, and it is absolutely one of the greatest card shows in the world. Now, why am I bringing this up to you? This next Dallas Card Show that is the first week of May, or first weekend of May, one of my favorite prospects, and I talked about him a couple weeks ago, Sebastian Walcott, is going to be there signing autographs. This is your opportunity to get the next Elly De La Cruz before he's out there and he's unaffordable. So absolutely take advantage of that opportunity. So this week, the team that I want to talk about is the Cincinnati Reds. The Cincinnati Reds are the home of the Big Red Machine, some truly amazing prospects, and absolutely the worst chili on the planet. I'm sorry, Skyline. So let's start off with the number 1 prospect in the Reds organization, the number 25 prospect overall, that's Chase Burns. Chase Burns is probably my favorite pitcher not currently in the major leagues. Played for his hometown Volunteers for a couple seasons. When he went to Wake Forest, he absolutely took the pitching scene by storm. And in his one season at Wake Forest, he broke the strikeout record, which was actually held by his soon-to-be rotation mate, Rhett Lauder. We're talking about a guy who had triple-digit potential on his fastball, but what's really, really exciting about this guy is his slider. He throws it at a rate where we see swing and miss over 60% of the time. He is absolutely electric. And as much as I hate to say it, I did see his professional debut in spring training against my Texas Rangers, and he absolutely dominated striking out the side. He is unbelievable. I'm telling you guys right now, Chase Burns is a guy you want to get your hands on as fast as possible before you don't get another chance. That's actually going to bring us to our next guy, who I just briefly alluded to, and that's Rhett Lauder. Rhett Lauder, who has the most luscious locks in all of minor league baseball, maybe Chase Dollander gives him a run. He's a guy who, as we mentioned, previously held the strikeout record at Wake Forest before coming over. He was the second pitcher taken in the 23 draft. The only pitcher taken in front of him was some guy named Paul Skeens, which, we've probably heard of once or twice. He is a strike-throwing machine. And at this point, it looks like he'll be pitching for the big club this year. Rhett Lauder is a guy you want to keep on your list. The next guy for the Reds that I want to bring up is Sal Stewart. Sal Stewart is a former two-way star at the University of Miami. He played basketball and baseball. He is an advanced hitter. He has a great eye. He absolutely walks as much or more than he strikes out. He has power to all fields and is an exciting guy. And he's the number 3 prospect for the Cincinnati Reds. And the last prospect I'm going to bring up for the Cincinnati Reds is one of my favorite guys that I've been watching for a little while, and I got to see him during the Futures game. That's Cam Collier. Cam Collier is 20 years old, and it feels like I've been watching Cam Collier for a couple years now. He was drafted at 17, and when you see this kid play, he has raw power, as evidenced by the MVP that he won during the Futures game for getting the ball out of the yard. He is currently a third baseman, but I think most signs point to he's going to end up at first base. He is truly exciting and the kind of guy that you want to keep an eye on. As a little bit of bonus for our Cincinnati Reds, I'm going to touch on one other guy, and this is a guy that people have kind of kept an eye on for quite some time, and that's Noelvi Marte. Noelvi Marte was one of the key components in the trade for Luis Castillo 2 years ago. Now, he ran into trouble last year. Unfortunately, PEDs are bad. But when he did get to come back, he was very inconsistent. This is a guy that everybody thought so highly of. I remember selling his Bowman first for way more than I thought I would. So there's a lot of excitement about this kid. Well, it sounds like he's about to get another shot. And it feels like this is one he needs to take and run with. So I'm very excited to see what happens for Noelvi Marte. The next section we like to talk about is when are they going to get there? I know I talked a little bit about that with Noelvi Marte, but I'm gonna hit on a guy who's a name that if you've been collecting cards for a while now, you know this name. And for us, he's a local talent. He went to school at Dallas Jesuit, and that's Jordan Lawler. Jordan Lawler is just 22 years old. Again, another guy it feels like we have been talking about for 3 or 4 years. So Jordan, if we go back 2 years ago, had a truly exciting moment in a not so great situation for his team. I remember watching this because, we've discussed many times, how how much I love my Rangers, and it happened to be during the World Series. But Lawler put on the roster for the World Series, got one at bat, and he battled a great walk. I know that sounds silly, but for a young kid who we've been hearing about for so long to go up and have such a big at bat in a big moment, the excitement level built. And then it turned into nothing. He's been hurt for a while, and we're talking about a kid who absolutely in the minors kills. He's got almost 1,000 minor league at bats. This kid's good for 38 home runs and an average of just under 300. I mean, he absolutely crushes minor league pitching. Unfortunately, his time in the majors, he's 4 for 31. And he's just really having a hard time hitting pitching at major league level. He started off this season hot again. I expect him to get called back up. This is another guy who really, really needs to take the ball and run with it. The final guy we're going to talk about, this is our diamond in the rough, it's going to be a while before we see them develop, but absolutely worth our time and our wait. And some of you collectors out there are already jumping on this bandwagon. And this is a kid for the Pittsburgh Pirates named Connor Griffin. Connor Griffin was voted the National High School Player of the Year last year. He is a 5-tool athlete. As it stands right now, he's slotted as a shortstop/outfielder, but when he gets to the majors, the expectation is that he'll be playing center field. Now, we still have a couple years. As it stands right now, the ETA for Connor Griffin is 2026, 2027. So you've got a little bit of time to jump on this wagon and take advantage of it. But he is an absolute 5-tool athlete, and these kind of guys do not come along very often. So take advantage of that opportunity. The last bit we like to talk about is our Gold Star. This week's Gold Star I'm going to back into because we like to focus on prospects, and the guy I'm going to talk about isn't a prospect. But it was prospects who got me to notice. So Every prospect collector has to keep an open mind. You look for those great players that, or the guys that potentially could be great, that you think are going to be great, that give you an opportunity to get a card that ultimately will be worth more down the line. But let's be honest, we all have some of our favorite guys that we're really pulling for, that we love to collect and we love to watch. For me, one of those guys is Spencer Jones. Spencer Jones is a ginormous human being. I watched him play in the Futures game as well. Not only did he hit the ball hard, the guy stole second base and it looked like a giraffe running out there, but he was flying, and it makes it so exciting to see a guy that big with that kind of speed and that kind of power. The potential is absolutely amazing for a guy like that. So why am I talking about Spencer Jones? Last week, I was reading an article, and when the headline of the article says, Spencer Jones may be dealt, immediately the light goes off. Well, the Yankees, being what they are, they love their big athletes who hit the ball a million miles. So what would it take to get the Yankees to potentially trade Spencer Jones? As I read into the article, the components that went into it absolutely made sense. So the Yankees lost Garrett Cole at the beginning of the season. They have some holes in their pitching rotation. And one of the teams that they were looking to do some business with was the San Diego Padres, the best record in baseball San Diego Padres right now. And the potential deal on the table was Spencer Jones and a couple other prospects for Michael King to fill the hole in the rotation, and Luis Arraez. Now, when I heard Luis Arraez's name, it really kind of touched a nerve, because anybody who is really watching baseball knows that Luis Arraez is an absolute hitting machine. But nobody, for the most part, gives him any love, especially the umpires, but that's a whole nother story. So if you're watching, Luis Arraez has been traded 3 times in 3 years. And each one of those years, he won the batting title. He's won the last 3 batting titles with 3 different teams. That's absolutely unheard of. He kept Aaron Judge from winning the Triple Crown in 22. He kept Shohei Ohtani from winning the Triple Crown last year. This is a guy who absolutely hits all the time. And nobody talks about him, and nobody collects him. If you go out and you look right now, you'll be able to pick up Luis Arraez rookie cards and rookie autographs for almost nothing. Another fun fact about Luis Arraez: he started off the season with 58 straight at-bats without striking out. That was the longest in Major League Baseball, ahead of any other player. He's now at 66 at-bats, and he has struck out once, which is totally unforgivable for a guy, right? But if you project that out over the remainder of the season, we're a 10th of the way through the season, that has him striking out 10 times. So if you've ever had a conversation with me about Luis Arraez, I refer to him as Tony Gwynn reborn. Tony Gwynn, in his greatest season, struck out 14 times. Arraez is on pace to do it 10 times. So this guy gets no credit. He is not paid attention to, and nobody collects him. But I'm giving a gold star to Luis Arraez because he is the epitome of a hitting machine. So that's all for me this week, guys. I did want to leave you with one last note. If you are in North Texas, or if you are a fan of WWE, RJ Dukes is doing a huge event for WrestleMania this coming week. We're going to be doing breaks, so if you follow us on eBay, we're doing 3 separate breaks there. And we will be live streaming during the first night of WrestleMania on Saturday. Take advantage of the opportunity. It will be fun. There'll be a lot of energy, and you might have some people dressing up in costume, which you will not want to miss. So that's all for this time. And as we always say, if you have any questions, if there's any prospects you want to know about, feel free to drop us a line, leave us a comment, and we'll get right back with you. Thanks much, and we'll catch you next time.